countries have confirmed that they will be in Mombasa from 10th to 21st of December. There is Paraguay, Ethiopia, Nigeria, there's Brazil, there's Cyprus, there's the Philippines, South Korea, Cambodia, Japan, Congo, the Republic of Congo, that's DRC, Nepal, Angola, USA, Germany, and many others. Over 40 countries have confirmed their attendance or appearance on that 10th edition of Tong Mombasa Championships 2022. This game is growing, as you can see, so many countries. When you have the US and Kenya, we have Germany and Kenya, you should know that this is big, and Kenya has done something special, especially from the 2019 edition of the Tong Mombasa, where Kenya showcased what she can offer the world. Clarence, thank you so much for joining me this morning. What do you make of this growth of this game in the country as of now?
At the moment, I would say Tong Ilmudo Federation is the fastest growing martial arts in the country. And for the last 10 years, we've been able to make great growth all over the country. And to that effect, especially through this tournament, which has been supported very much by the government of Kenya through the Ministry of Sports, been able also to motivate many African countries to up their game. So when we started in 2013, when we had the first edition, we had about 3 active African countries, but now as we speak, we have 12 active African countries, which every year are able to come and participate in this tournament and win medals for their nations.
10 years of running Tong Ilmudo. How has it been like?
The journey has been very tough, but we set our vision very clearly for the whole country, and we started small from where it started in 1987. So what we did was first to make sure that our officials are instructors, so they have the interest of the sport at heart. So that's important, because once we have instructors who are internally connected to the sport, they're able to drive the course of the sport towards the right direction. So we started expanding the community clubs, making them active again. We also did a great campaign with institutions, especially primary schools and high schools. And we also are making plans to get into universities, because now that is the level where we'll be able to professionalize the sport more. But with the primary level and the high school, we're using those grounds as grooming areas for future talent. And through such institutions, we've been able to get very talented members of our national team, Jasiri.
Talking about enhancing the sport and growing it all over the country, it means that you have more coaches. You've talked about training coaches and also directors in this game. How much does it cost you to train these people? And how long is somebody supposed to be trained? Anyway, at the end of the day, people are asking, how long is the training? How long is the course? So what do I need to be qualified to be trained as a Tong Ilmudo coach or instructor?
We have belts from white belt to black belt. So there's white, yellow, green, blue, brown, then eventually black. For a dedicated student, it can take between 2 to 3 years to get to black belt. But even before that, we also have a section whereby we can have junior instructors. So those are instructors who are below black belt. Like when I started training when I was a green belt. So I was training my students as I was also upgrading myself. So any person who has the motivation to be an instructor, because not everybody can be an instructor, they're able to start training at a very low level belt, but still be able to go up together with the other students. So at any belt level, someone can train.
So anybody can train at any level. If you want to be an instructor, a coach, or other. Let's talk about sports tourism and sports economy at the same time within Tong Ilmudo. It's a sport that brings so many people into this country. Some of them, at the end of the day, they end up going to Masai Mara, coming to Nairobi, and going to even Nanyuki to see the wildlife. This is money coming to the country.
Yes, definitely. Actually, the main purpose of this international tournament was, one, to expose the national team or the Kenyan players to an international championship arena initially we never had so many international tournaments, and it's also expensive for us to have a bigger number of players from Kenya go to international tournament because of budgetary constraints. So we started this tournament, one, to give exposure to our players, and then second, also to market this country, one, as a sports destination as well as a tourist destination. So if you look at the entire theme of the Mombasa Open Tong International Martial Arts Championship, you will see there's a section which shows training, there's a section which has photos of wildlife, and also the sandy beaches of Mombasa. So part of the program is sightseeing, whereby all guests, both local and foreign, go to visit historical sites like Fort Jesus, Savo, Shimba Hills. And the reason why we pick parks near Mombasa is because of the distance. But other members who've come from different countries after the tournament have also been able to tour other parts of the country, like Masai Mara and the Mount Kenya circuit.
As a professional, do you think we're tapping enough into this sports economy, sports tourism? Are we tapping enough, or should we do more?
I think we should do more, and one best way is to increase the number of events hosted in Kenya. If you look at the Middle East, Europe and the America, you notice that these countries take keen interest into hosting big international events. So in this particular case, maybe it's also a good thing that we also now have a new cabinet secretary for sports, who also mentioned that this is a sector which needs to be supported. In conjunction with the Ministry for Tourism, we need to come up with a framework on how we can use sports activities to bring in more guests. As you saw during the under 18 and under 20 World Athletics Championship, as well as the Safari Rally, so many foreign guests came. We also got so much coverage from those events. Same to Tong Ilmudo Federation, through the Mombasa Open Tong Ilmudo International Martial Arts Championship. We get a lot of coverage from the visiting countries. And if you look at the trend of this international tournament, we started with 6 countries in 2013, and last year we had 16 nations come to Kenya, and that was during a very difficult time globally of COVID-19, and there was also an outbreak of Omicron around November, December, which also made the numbers go lower. So the number of countries intending to come to Kenya has always been increasing, which shows that the tournament or the championship has gained a lot of popularity. As we speak, the Mombasa Open International Championship is the most popular international championship in the World Tong Ilmudo Federation annual calendar of events. So all countries always want to come here. One, for the tough competition, and second, for tourism. They love the country, the weather is great, and the people...
But Kenya is beautiful, Mokio. Yes, Kenya is so beautiful. Everybody wants to be here anyway. As much as some of us want to run away from this country. You see so many people immigrating and moving to the US, UK, and you wonder, what are they going to do there when people from those countries want to come here? At the end of the day, it's all about perception and what you think is happening. So you have had a good relationship with the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, and the sports ministry, by then led by Amina Mohammed. Now there's a new regime, President William Ruto, and also the new cabinet secretary, Babu Namwamba, who is coming in and who is trying to make sure that he sets targets and to achieve things in this sport, because so many things have happened ever since the Uhuru Kenyatta's regime. How are you going to ensure that Tong Ilmudo gets supported frequently and continuously to grow the sport all over the country, especially when to talk about Mashinani, that the sports go to Wajir, Turkana, Marsabit, Mandera, and all those other places where people really don't know that sport can pay?
It's a fact we got a lot of support for the last 10 years for the former administration of President Uhuru Kenyatta, and by extension the then Deputy President, who is now the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto. And we believe that with the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, which speaks about sports and the intentions they have about sports, and also the plans they have to increase the budgetary allocation for sports, which has been the biggest impediment towards development of talent, as well as performance of our national teams here and there. We believe that the new administration under the leadership of President William Ruto and Minister Honorable Bob Namamba will steer the ship to the right direction of growing the sports to the next level and be able to professionalize most of our federations and national teams. In one of the speeches, the current Minister for Sports mentioned that he wants to take keen interest in the welfare of sportsmen and women in this country, as well as officials. That's also our intention, because when we professionalize our sports, they'll be able to, one, develop our people, just like we've seen with the many international players from other countries. And second, it will also be able to safeguard their future and also nurture more talent. And on this other side, through successful events like this one, be able to also uplift our economy, because if we can be able to get many guests coming to the country, it's also a plus for economy.
So Mokio, what do you want? What do you need to make sure that this game grows to the next level? What do you really specifically need? Which kind of support do you need to ensure that this game grows to the next level?
One, we need partnership with the government through the Ministry of Sports, and that is in terms of funding. We need more funding towards these international events, as well as more funds allocated towards grassroots development of sports. Currently, the sports fund mostly funds the national team and such international events. But my appeal to the government is to enhance funding of grassroots programs of sports federation at county level, so that we groom players from the ground and then bring them up to the national level. So if we're able to bridge this gap, they'll also be able to monitor the growth of these sports at all levels, as well as empower federations, because most federations have volunteers, and it takes some time for a federation to have financial freedom towards sustaining all its activities.
But Mokio, talking about volunteers, that's where it begins. In Kenya, there's a term they say kukulia. That's where wanakulia. Because what that means is having so many people and then trying to show people that I'm doing this. But at the end of the day, when the money comes in, all these volunteers become workers all of a sudden, and they become ghost workers. They're paid so much money, and the federations cannot account for what has happened in the last or the past 10 years. For you, you're lucky, and you're lucky that for the last 10 years, the president, former president, and the former regime has supported you, including the president who is now the President William Ruto, supported you people to ensure that this thing happen. What is it that you are doing different from other federations which have not been funded because they cry for, the government has refused, yet you are being funded? What is it that you are doing different that they're not doing? Because there's corruption in sports, obviously. I'm sorry to say that.
There's been a perception that there's corruption almost everywhere in sports, but that's not really the case everywhere. What we've done different is, one, we have people who are attached to the sport, and there's a clear vision of Kenya Tong Federation on where we want to go. So our vision for the sport in Kenya and Africa is very clear. So we set standards of the events we do. If you follow up our sports activities, you'll notice that we don't do this makeshift tournaments. We make sure we organize solid events, and we are able to account for every cent given to us by government. And if anybody wants to see which event we did last year, there's a lot of evidence on what happened in all our events. But it's also been the case for many other federations, because after the establishment of the Sports Art and Social Development Fund, there's a clear guideline on how to get funding. So you make an application to the fund, you present your case, you may be called for to explain or to be grilled on the kind of event you are doing. And once the committee is satisfied that all you've presented is in order, they forward the application to the board, and the board approves your funding. So funding has been done to many federations. It's unfortunate that many people don't come out strongly and appreciate the fact that they've also been funded by the government. And also, I would also think the fund should also come public on how many federations it's also been funding, so that the country can know how much progress sports federations have been able to make due to this funding.
So many people call us and they say, Jeff, you know what, we have not been paid. We have the government holds allowances and millions of allowances in terms of money. And you wonder what's happening. Jeff goes there, he does the story, cleaning up or tidying up their messes, and also making sure that things are done the right way. But on the other hand, I find myself as a backing dog, as somebody is just trying to clean up his mess on the other side, using me as a cleaning tool, as a media. It's so wrong that happens at some time. So we have seen cricket where it's gone to. We've seen hockey where it's gone to. And most importantly, football, we've seen where it's gone to, trying to fight back to get on its feet. Are you ensuring, what are you doing to ensure that Tong Mudu as well doesn't follow suit? So many sports are following suit, by the way.
One policy which I stand for as the chairman of Kenya Tong Mudu Federation is I consider the Ministry of Sports as a partner towards growing our sport. So whenever we have issues or stalemates, which we get them, but my style of leadership is not confrontational. I do not see it as the best practice for me to confront the same government which is supporting my sport. So as part of our training as martial artists also is, we train a lot of endurance. So sometimes we go through challenges, but we look for solutions. And there are always ways to look for solutions. As much as most of our federations also don't have professionals who can also help them with accountability matters and whatnot, I believe the Department of Sports or the Sports Fund can also come in with advice on how to handle finances, as they've also done some trainings to us, but we need more of capacity building to the leadership of federation to be able to do that. Unfortunately, some federations only come out when they are denied support. Last year it was very tough. Somehow funds were not sufficient enough to facilitate most of our teams, including the national team, Jasiri. But we follow up with an application for sorting out previous bills, and those are things which are usually considered when the resources are there. Luckily, with the new administration, they promised to have more funds for sports. As you know, the sports fund had different allocation of funds, some going to health, and clearly for us as sports stockholders, we felt like this money is not sorting out the intended purpose, because a small percentage was going to sports, which was not sufficient to sort us all out. But with the new administration of President William Ruto, we believe that they will be able to take care of more responsibilities for sports and develop the sports further.
Okay, so as we wind up, before we do the administration of what Tong Mudu is, by the way, what is new about Mombasa this time around? This international championship coming to Mombasa. What's the plan, and what is new about this Tong Mudu international championship in Mombasa?
The most remarkable thing about this year's championship is we are hosting the 10th edition of the Mombasa Open Tong Mudu International Martial Arts Championship. So we've been hosting this event in this country, a beautiful country, Kenya, for the last 9 years, successfully, with full partnership the government of Kenya through the Ministry of Sports. And we believe with their support, once again this year, we can be able to have a very memorable event to all participating nations, and also be able to display to the country what 10 years means. Of course, Jasiri is also preparing for the international championship, and we also hope that we can still carry the day with our national team. So the purpose is to showcase the best we can offer to the world from Kenya.
To the world. Just differentiate between Tong Mudu and karate and taekwondo. What's the difference?
Tong Mudu is a unified martial arts style from Korea. It is composed of different techniques, skills of techniques from different martial arts, all put together. So it's technically one martial arts which encompasses all other martial arts under one roof. And it can also be trained by very young people as well as very old people, because we have a section of circular motion which is most defensive and can be able to be trained by anyone.
That's nice.
Yes.
That's nice. Now, what we do, Mr. Clarence,
Yes.
because you are here
Yes.
and you are president
Yes.
of the Tong Federation,
Yes.
this is what you are going to help us to do.
Yes.
A small demonstration
All right.
of how things work here.
Okay.
So, I think you need somebody to help you.
Yes,
It's
I'll
not
call-
me.
yes.
It can't be me.
No.
I'm not well
No, we'll break
experienced.
it.
So you just come here
Yes.
and show us what exactly you have to
all right.
offer this country, especially when it comes to Tong Mudu. You've done it for 10 years,
Yes.
and for the demonstration of TV,
Yes.
this is what Tong Mudu is like,
Yes.
and this is how the demonstration begins.
Okay.
You can now, should I usher you off? Should I do this, like?
Yeah.
I should be, I can do it from here, right?
You can do it from here by standing.
No, standing.
Yes.
Okay, so, are you ready?
So, so this is basically a sparring position. My colleague here, Elvis, is the captain of the national team. So the difference between Tong and other martial arts is you combine linear techniques like punches, kicks, and then you also have circular motion techniques. If he punches me, I can block again, block, punch, block. That is circular motion. Circular motion is continuous in a sense that after he punches like this, I can go around, take his hand like this, lock him, take him down to the floor. So this is all controlled, but it can be very lethal because I choose whether to take him down or break the hand. So another aspect of circular motion and linear motion is you can punch me, okay, okay, move, okay.
Another one?
Yes, block, grab. Then from this same position, I can push him and then take him down. And after he goes down, I can still continue with him and lock his hand. So with this, when I hold his hand here, I'm basically putting pressure here. So when I push it down like this, it's very painful. And I can go further. I can go further.
Okay.
If you want to arrest someone, you also do this. Okay. But these are techniques you may use or not use, especially in the streets. It's better to use instant techniques and probably take off. Because sometimes there's a large group of people attacking you and you have to save yourself first. So we'll do a number of techniques, basic techniques. Come here. Baru. Sitting stance with a punch. Hana. Chill. Sit. Net. Test. Yes. Elbow. Jump. Hop. Yul. Back fist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Overturn punch. Hana. Chill. Sit. Net. Test. Yes. Elbow. Jump. Hop. Yul. Palm strike. 1, 2, 3, 4. Elbow strike. Hana. Chill. Sit. Net. Test. Yes. Elbow. Jul. Hop. Yul. Downward block. Hana. Chill. Sit. Net. Upward block. Hana. Chill. Sit. Net. Inner form block. Hana. Chill. Sit. Net. Outer form block. Hana. Chill. Sit. Net. Inner form block. Hana. Chill. Sit. Net. Baru. So we also have kicks.
Wow. So can you do the kicks?
Yeah, we also have kicks.
Yeah.
So we'll do a few kicks. Okay. Position. Snap kick. Hana. Chill. Sit. Net. Baksu. Hana. Chill. Sit. Net. Baksu. In a crescent kick. Hana. Chill. Sit. Net. Baksu. Hana.